back to my channel. My name is Brittany Bundles. In today's video, I'm going to be going over buying a car outright versus taking out an auto loan. When I first got my car, my first car, I was 19 years old, and I saved up all my money so that I can get a car off Craigslist because I really didn't know much about credit. I really didn't know much about financing, and I didn't have a lot of money. So I'm like, I'm just going to find a car to get me to point A to point B, so that I can, have reliable transportation for work, for school. I also had my baby at that time, so I needed some reliable transportation to transport, my baby back and forth to the daycare and also to doctor's visits and to the grocery store. And I didn't want to have to take him on the bus. So the first thing, if you're looking at buying a car outright, there are some, pros to it. You don't have to worry about a loan. So you don't have to worry about making payments. So that's, it's a weight off your shoulder. One less thing that you have to pay for, is one less thing that you have to pay for. So a lot of people like to buy their cars outright just so they don't have to continuously make payments, and so that it's really, actually theirs. I know some people don't like to call their car unless they bought it outright. And some people feel the same about mortgages. They don't really say that they bought their home unless they actually bought it outright. It depends on your preference, but that's one of the perks, that you can actually say, I actually own this car outright. There's no payments. And not only can you say that, but you don't have to worry about making payments. So if you're someone that really doesn't make on-time payments, you're someone that really doesn't want to think about making your payments, or maybe you forget to make your payments, then buying a car outright may be a great option for you. Also, buying a car outright, it may be easier to sell or trade in, because when you go to a dealership and you pick a vehicle to finance, a lot of the equity goes out of the vehicle as soon as you drive off the lot. So once you drive off the lot, in a few years, you may want to trade in your vehicle, upgrade, get something different, or something may go wrong with your car where you actually are forced to get a new car. And it's like you have a loan still on the vehicle and you're trying to get another. So, you're having to roll in all that negative equity into your next vehicle. There's a lot that can go into it. When you buy your car outright, you really don't have to worry about trading in that vehicle, having to pay off a loan first, or pay down a portion of your loan before you're able to get something or finance something else. So that's another good perk. Another thing that I wanted to go over is it's not affecting your debt to income. If you guys watched any of my credit building videos, I believe I went over debt to income and how different institutions will look at your debt to income when they're decisioning your loan. And so if you don't have, too many loans on your credit report, too many high balances on your credit cards, and your debt to income, so the amount of debt that you currently owe versus the amount of income that you're getting in, looks good in the eye of the credit union or the bank or the finance institution, then you have a higher chance of getting a loan. And because you bought your car outright, you don't have to worry about that debt being added on to your debt to income ratio. So that's another perk. So those are really the three perks that I wanted to address as far as buying the car outright. Now, some of the things that you want to consider when you are financing the vehicle, some of the perks that come along with that is that it actually builds your credit. So I remember when I purchased my second vehicle, I actually did not buy it outright. I got an auto loan because I really, really wanted a nice vehicle. I wanted something that was going to be reliable and actually last me for some years. I also wanted to be able to have a warranty in case something happened. When I bought my first car outright, it did break down and I didn't have any type of recourse. I didn't have like a warranty or a gap policy that would allow me to be covered in case of an accident. I mean, I had typical, standard insurance, but I didn't have anything added that would give me more of like a cushion in case something went bad. I didn't have any type of warranties like I mentioned. So I wanted to go to a dealership so that I could have those warranties factored in. When you are looking for a vehicle, you want to make sure that you're being cautious of the different warranties that the dealerships are going to offer you, because they will try to offer you just everything. And I mean, not everyone, but a lot of dealerships will. So you want to make sure that you're being cautious on that. Read through the different policies, read through the different warranties and see actually what comes with it and if it's going to work good for you. But that's why I decided to get my car, from a dealership my second time around. And when I got the car, I was making really, really good money. And I'm like, you know what? I really don't want to have this payment every month. If I have the money sitting in my account, I might as well just pay off my loan. And so I did that. So after about 4 months of making the payments, I just caught up and I actually paid my loan off. So I felt really good about that. And in my mind, I was thinking, hey, since I paid off my car loan, that means I have, pretty good credit. That means that the credit bureau is going to see, wow, this girl can really pay off the loans that she takes out. She actually paid it off a lot sooner. So, if she wants anything else, we're going to give it to her. At least that's how I thought it worked. It wasn't until I went back a few years later to try to get another vehicle. I wanted to upgrade, and they were like, you really don't have any credit built up. And I'm like, what do you mean? I mean, I had a 5-year car loan that I paid off in 4 months. And they said, that's just it. You know, the credit bureau wants to see an established payment history. That's how you build credit. And so if you hurry up and pay off your loan, or if you don't have any loans or any credit cards or anything to pretty much show them that you're responsible enough to pay off your debt, then it's not really building your credit. And so a really good perk that comes along with financing your vehicle is you get the option to actually build your credit. Even though you're like, man, I really don't want an auto loan. Man, I really don't want to make payments. You never know what you'll want in the future. You never know if you'll want to be a homeowner and actually get a mortgage. You never know if you're going to want to, get a different vehicle that actually requires you to take out a loan. You never know if you'll need a loan for personal reasons, a business. So you want to make sure that you're always thinking about building your credit. Even if you don't need the money right now, it doesn't mean that you may not need it in the future or that it may not come handy. So it's always good just to have good credit. Even if you're not utilizing it, at least it's there in case you have to. Also, full coverage insurance is one of the, I don't want to say downfalls or one of the disadvantages to having an auto loan, but a lot of people look at having full coverage insurance as like a disadvantage to having an auto loan just because you have to pay more for full coverage. But honestly, whether you have an auto loan or whether you don't, I would recommend having full coverage just in case something happens. Knock on wood, my vehicle, I've had one vehicle that was totaled and my insurance definitely kicked in, but I did not have like a gap policy like I mentioned in the beginning of the video. So I ended up still having to pay that auto loan off even though my car was undrivable. I wasn't able to actually use it. So I would keep that in mind, you guys. So those are just some of the pros on both sides. So this is just a quick video, like I mentioned, to kind of just go over some of the advantages or disadvantages to buying a car outright or financing a vehicle. Ultimately, you guys, the choice is going to be completely up to you. It depends on your circumstance. It depends on your finances, your credit history, and what works best for you at that moment. So if you have any questions, be sure to leave them down below. Make sure that you are subscribed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.